Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, the home for financial advice in a language you can understand. Created by Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial, he and his team of certified financial planner professionals will discuss timely topics that help individuals and families make smart financial decisions. And now, get ready for this week's edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial.
Back to another edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. My name is Marc Freedman.
And I'm Marion Gilman.
And we're here to provide you with some financial advice in a language you can understand. We're sitting here, middle of March, as we...
Ides of March, right?
Yeah, the Ides of March, right? Right in the middle. And the
Yeah.
Ides of March is due to Julius Caesar, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh,
you know what? I that could be very true, but I'm just not sure.
I think the Ides of March has something to do with Julius Caesar, if I remember that correctly. Now, hey, if you're watching this podcast, you can help us understand what the Ides of March is.
That would be great.
Actually, tell you what, if you send us an email explaining what the Ides of March is and what that represents, we've got a special gift that we will send to you. How's that?
A contest, isn't
contest.
that
Well,
fabulous?
You know,
Good.
anybody that sends it, I'll send anybody who sends it. I'll send you a special gift.
Sounds great.
That's pretty enticing.
Absolutely.
And you know,
why not?
These days, everybody wants a little good news because right now, the news has been a little unsettling.
Yeah, but the weather's a little bit better.
Oh, it has been. It has, hasn't it? It's been we almost hit 80 degrees here a couple days ago.
It was unbelievable. It was so warm.
But then we just got back from lunch
Yeah,
today, and
it
it's
really isn't fair.
back to 40.
Exactly.
But you know, look,
We live in New England. We chose to live in New England, so we're all aware of that around here. And we understand it. We still can complain about it, though. Kind of fun to complain every once in a while, right?
That's what we do. It's what,
Exactly.
you know, it's part of what we
Shtick.
do as New Englanders. We complain about something.
That's right.
And, you know, look, there's plenty of complaining that's going on right now when you think about the world situation and the war that's going on overseas and the news and the information and everything that comes to us.
Yes.
Who do you trust? What do you listen to? What do you believe? The markets certainly aren't giving us any indicators as to which direction everything's going, are they?
The markets have been up and down. So it is really remarkable. There has been a lot of volatility. So volatility, in case you ever hear it on the news, it's measured by an index that's called the VIX. So when they say that the VIX is high or the VIX is low, it's a measure of volatility in the market. And we have seen a lot of volatility. We have seen days where it's been down 700 points and then ends up 600 points.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
I think it's interesting. A lot of people will come into the office over the past couple of weeks and say, oh, this market's in tough shape. And many of them are making that prediction or that thought because in the morning they woke up and they heard Dow futures are expected to drop 500 points lower this morning.
And that, honestly, I think almost every day this week, that is what the prediction has been. And at least half of those days, the market ended up. As a matter of fact, I have occasionally come out of a meeting that I've been in for an hour or so, and it's 4 o'clock, so the market has now closed while I was in the meeting. And I look and I say, okay, well, it ended up today. It was down when I went to the meeting, and now it's up.
Yeah, no one really
So,
wants to talk about that.
No.
It seems like what we're all good about doing is talking about bad news.
Well, and I think that's the other problem. Everybody thinks the market's down because when the market is down, it's much louder on the news, right?
Right.
Whereas the days that the market is up, they don't come on and say, oh, the market was fabulous today. It's, you know, but when it plunges.
And, you know, and it's really hard. We've been kind of talking about how do we not only educate our clients, because we're being educated ourselves, but how do we stay rational during these challenging or uncertain times and look at all of what's going on out there. And I think what's kind of interesting is, think about this. On the day that the war happened, I think it was a Saturday. We were probably sleeping, I think, at the time. But
Yeah, yes, I think it was overnight.
But for the first 24 hours, every news station in America, whether it was a cable news station, your local news station, everybody was all reporting the news. Here's what's happening.
The facts.
Right. And it wasn't until 48 hours later until every news station decided to go in their own way to say, hey, what can we do that's unique? Because, hey, if all we're doing is talking about the facts, it's kind of boring because everybody's doing the same thing.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Excuse me.
It's kind of boring. Everybody's doing the same thing. So every news station has to find what's their little edge, what's their little niche that they can follow.
Right.
And sometimes it gets extreme, and sometimes they find an audience that's really trending towards listening and watching that, and then they build on that and build on it and build on it.
And it's no longer news per
Right.
se. It is now interpretation of what's going on. Their interpretation
Right.
sometimes.
And because news is worldwide, and we can accumulate it instantaneously from anywhere in the world, anything that is reported has to be assumed that it's being listened to and read by everyone around the world, not just one side of this argument, but both sides of the argument.
Very fascinating.
And so
isn't
now
it?
you have to be very careful with the words, or perhaps intentional with your words to try to deceive somebody or try to encourage them to think one way or the other. And
That's right.
and you and I,
Influence, you know?
as you and I, as we sit around thinking about this, we realize we are being influenced.
Of course we are. Absolutely. And every day, I mean, just read your news feed that comes on your phone or go onto the internet. There are so many influential people on there that you might listen to, and you probably agree with some of their thoughts and then go on to think everything this person reports is truth. And it may or may not be.
Yeah, and in this world of artificial intelligence,
Oh, yes.
you watch a video, you watch a speaking head, you watch some story, you don't even know if it's real. Someone could have made up the whole darn thing.
So did you know, and you probably do, but apparently there is an app that allows bots to chat with each other.
Oh yeah, there's.
I think Meta just bought that company.
I don't know. Well, Jody, who works in our office, she was telling me how her husband Mike gives prompts to these bots, whatever the bot is. I don't know, and they all talk to one another.
Yeah.
To come up with
Exactly.
a better solution.
Right.
Hey, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
That's right.
I never thought of
So
artificial intelligence as thinking and having emotional thought attached to it.
Exactly. So that's what this app is. It allows them to chat with one another, and which just that really threw me when I heard that. You know, I thought that was amazing.
It's a little unsettling.
It is.
But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, all right, let's erase all the news. Imagine you didn't turn on your phone, you didn't turn on your TV for the next week. Would you be able to do all of the things that you enjoy doing? Unless, of course, the things you enjoy doing are being on TV and looking at your phone. But if you wanted to do a whole bunch of other things, the things you like to do, could you do it? And I think the answer is absolutely yes. When we ask people, oh, Mark, I heard the economy's terrible, I want them to try to help me understand what is terrible about the economy that's impacting you. Because that's what we really need to focus on. If we need to change the direction of your financial plan, if we need to rethink your overall investment strategy, if you need to rethink your spending or your earnings potential because the economy is impacting you, yeah, let's talk about it. But if you just say, well, the economy's really tough right now, well, I think you'll get a lot of different opinions.
Well, I would hope so. And, you know, yesterday I was listening to a recap, and it's my understanding from what I listened to, egg prices have fallen by 50% since last year.
But no one wants to talk about that.
Because that one of the big complaints I hear, and I will say that I go into the supermarket as well, and it does seem like a lot of prices are up in the supermarket.
Certainly beef prices.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I don't buy a lot of eggs personally, so I'm not all that clear on what egg prices have been. I haven't paid that much attention, but that was the statistic, that they have dropped by 50%.
So I was sitting with a client actually this morning, and we were talking about this phenomenon of prices in the grocery store and all that stuff. And I was reminded of when we used to do this radio show. One year I had Laura, my wife, on the radio as my guest. I think it might have been a Valentine's Day episode that we did.
Probably.
And I said to Laura, I said, if someone were to ask you, what is one thing that you buy or one place where you choose to spend money where you never worry about how much it costs.
And
Laura's response was it was interesting. I didn't know where she was going to go with it. And she said, her answer is the grocery store. She does not care about what anything costs in the grocery store. And that's because we eat out so often. Now, when we were kids, we didn't eat out much at all. But now we eat out so often, we get takeout so often, that whatever it costs at the supermarket, it's far less than what it's going to cost if we go out to a restaurant.
there you go. I actually had a friend who felt the same way, who never questioned what the price was, because she felt if she had to go to the grocery store, she was buying whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
Because she just didn't like going to the grocery store.
But it does seem to think, it's funny, I've been going around, I still eat out a lot. But we've been making meals at home. It's just Laura and I now. The kids are all out of the house. And there are some restaurants that have raised their prices to reflect the growth in meat costs and a lot of other labor costs, et cetera. And other places that have not raised their prices nearly as much as I thought they would.
I have noticed some places, though, have shrunk the portions
Yes,
of
they have.
meat. I've noticed there were a couple of hamburgers that seemed a little bit smaller, when I went.
But you go to
somewhere.
McDonald's,
I can't remember.
not that I go to McDonald's that often, but the prices at McDonald's are much higher. There's no such thing as like the dollar meals. When you get the extra value meals right now, that's going to run you $10, $12 for an extra value meal, where it was costing you $6.
I did see that statistic, and think about it. I guess that it's kind of sad, because now a family of 7 like yours, say, you go to McDonald's and you're paying $100 probably for dinner.
Yeah, well, there was a story, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, or maybe it was the Boston Magazine, that talked about how restaurants are having to find other ways to make money so that they don't have to raise the price of meat being so expensive and things like that. They might raise their price on drinks, or raise their price on side dishes or desserts. That's where they're trying to add a little bit more of the profit margin in there.
And they certainly have done that. I've noticed that significantly, that they have, particularly dessert prices. I always pay attention to dessert, so that stuck with me, how much they've raised those prices. But that's true. They can make a fair amount of money on dessert or drinks. That's where they make a lot of their money. So why not, do that?
And so as people begin to worry about all this stuff in the news, should you be concerned about the economy? Should you be concerned about the war? Should you be concerned about your job? Should you be concerned about a lot of things that impact your ability to achieve both your short and long-term future? What we do at Freedman Financial becomes more important every single day. Because like you had with a client just this past week who told you she feels this huge weight off her shoulder.
Because she was managing her money on her own, making all the decisions. And finally, she had met us or knew about us, had friends who worked with us, and she came to the office and we had a chat, long chat, and she decided to have us take over. And all of a sudden, that responsibility has been lifted. So she doesn't feel like it's all on her. She doesn't have to be responsible for how everything is invested and how much she's taking out and where she should take money if she needs money for something unusual, or what the tax burden's going to be. It's and honestly, makes me feel good, of course, and us. And we have situations like that a lot. But I guess just the way she put it into words was striking, and it was, we really appreciate hearing that as well.
Yeah, working with a financial advisor is not about who can get you the best return on your money.
Absolutely not.
It's about building that relationship, someone that understands the big picture of who you are, what your total net worth looks like, what your ability is to achieve the goals that you want both today and in the future. And if now is the time for you to get serious about your financial planning and investment management needs, we're here to help you. Phone number here, 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. Or visit us on that thing called the World Wide Web. FreedmanFinancial.com. That's Freedman.
2 E's and a D.
Financial.com. Go to the bottom of any page. You can put in your name and your email address and get our free weekly newsletter called Planning Pointers. It lands in your inbox every Friday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you, Mark.
And have a great week. We'll see you again next week with more Dollars and Cents. Have a great day, everyone.
Enjoy.
During today's episode of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, your host may have discussed specific financial planning and investment ideas that are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please remember that investing involves risk and may include loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.